Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day and welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian Fishing Podcast, episode 119. Dizzy?
Mate, it's great to be here with you again in this great episode of the podcast. We've got a big name guest.
We certainly do, Diz. Michael Angelakis. He is synonymous with seafood in South Australia.
Wow, what
He's a big name.
That's a big name. That's up there.
It is, Diz, and I see you're looking at that Pirate Life beer in front of you with a bit of hesitation. We are coming off a reasonably big weekend.
Gosh, it's got some dirt and dust on top. I can't help but feel like this is coming out the depths of someone's esky.
There were some weird things in that fridge I just went into, so anyway.
I'm not surprised by that.
There was a long neck of Canadian Club I could have got you.
Oh, wow, no thank you.
Anyway,
no, thank
Diz,
you.
That probably rolls into our orange and lemon, I think.
Yes, get us going, mate. What's your orange?
Diz, we went to the AFL Grand Final last weekend, 3 nights in Melbourne with the boys. It's sort of an unofficial Punters Club end-of-year celebration every year for the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's not quite a habit yet because we've only been 2 in a row, but I think next year or the year after, if we keep it consistent, it'll become a habit.
But safe to say it was a big weekend. It was a great weekend catching up with 6 of our mates, stayed in an Airbnb, went to the rugby, went to the footy, and we did get through a fair few beers, Diz, so these ones might take a little while to get through.
Yes, good call, Rhodey, and I'll just roll that straight into my orange, mate. It was the Punters Club having a good weekend on the punt.
It was, Diz. And
it's rare for us.
And theoretically, that was supposed to pay for our grand final trip, and it certainly didn't this year.
No, it didn't. But certainly the win that we had on the Punters Club for the weekend went, I'm not going to say a long way to cover the beers, but it went some way to cover the beers. So, we basically rolled Will Hayward first goal into Kai Lohman 2+, into Ashcroft Norm.
We did it all.
Was that it?
Yeah, we did have 3 or 4 other bets on that didn't pay off, but our wins comfortably covered our losses.
Oh, they did. And we had Charlie Cameron for first goal, was one of those other punters, and he had his hands on the footy early on with a set shot in front that we thought he'd kick, but he sprayed it. And down the other end, Will Hayward opens the account for the Swannies, and that was about the only shot they fired.
So it's probably our best day for the Punters Club for a few years, I'd say.
Yeah, good call. Good call. All right, Rhodey, what's the lemon?
Had to be the actual football part of the weekend.
Yeah, it was
over by sort of 15 minutes in the second quarter, wasn't it?
I think we got spoilt last year.
We certainly got spoilt last year. But, bit of a blowout. But, yeah, it was a good weekend, but that was the only sour point, I suppose.
Probably went to one of the best grand finals in the modern era last year.
We were never going to back it up, were we?
I think we were though it was shaping up to be a good game, but anyway, it wasn't. My lemon, Rhodey, is... Look, the long weekend is upon us, or very soon to be upon us, and it's very unusual for us to not have some kind of plans or some sort of fishing adventure in the works on a long weekend. But this year at this stage, we haven't got much, have we?
No, Diz. I think it's just the way it's fallen. Obviously, Melbourne last weekend. We're going camping the following weekend. I'm not sure if you're coming along or you're day tripping or what you're doing, but it sort of falls between 2 travel weekends for us. But might get busy in the garden, mate.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same, actually, but the weather doesn't look great.
No.
I hate to give you another lemon, but the weather looks ordinary.
And actually, that was another lemon from the Melbourne trip. Pez and the boys got into us about our oranges and lemons getting a bit repetitive. They said, what was it? Weather.
Port winning.
Port losing. Weather. Kids getting sick at childcare.
Good call.
They've caught on to our trends for our oranges and lemons.
I'm just glad that Pez listens.
Oh, he does, doesn't he?
Rhodey, give the listeners a bit of a merch update. So the monthly photo comp, we're due to announce a September winner. We'll get to that shortly, but it's a fantastic prize.
Certainly is, Diz, and we love giving out these prize packs, a beanie, a Shimano backpack, stubby holder. We like to keep people sending in their photos, Diz, and we've got the September winner.
Yes, we do, Rhodey. Without without making them wait too long out there, who's the winner for the September comp?
Dizzy, we have gone with Jordan Saliba, who has just sent us through an absolute epic wrap-up of his weekend, catching the limit of squid and whiting both days. Both days, you heard that right, in a kayak with Ollie's squidding page. So they went over to the Eyre Peninsula, I believe. I'm not sure if that's 100% confirmed. But they did very well, and they shared plenty of photos with us of their catch.
Epic. What do we think of Port Hughes?
Oh, mate, that's a secret. I don't think they're going to share.
Nah, fair enough too. I wouldn't.
And you wouldn't either if you cleaned up on whiting in a kayak, would you?
I certainly wouldn't. That's an epic weekend, and well done. Jordan, great fan of the show.
Yes, we've had him on before, Diz, and he's a bit of an ambassador in the fishing community.
Certainly is. Great work to him. Rhodey, let's get into the next segment, which is, of course, the news.
Rhodey and Diz have been searching far and wide to bring you the latest news across all fishing in the state, and will give you the rundown on what you need to know.
Righto, Rhodey, what have you stumbled across in the news this week? I'm hearing there's a bit of chatter about the crays.
There is always a bit of chatter about the crayfish this time of year, Diz. The season has just opened for the southern zone. So that started on, so the closure ended on the 1st of October. The northern zone, which covers most of the state, ends on the 1st of November. So those down in the southeast, Robe, Kingston, Cape Jaffa sort of way, they're able to fish, but the rest of the state not for crayfish as of yet for another month. And it marks the 4th year in a row without trade to China, Diz.
Wow.
Which is disappointing,
Somber.
Dizzy. So this is a quote here from Nathan Kimber, who's the executive officer of the Southeastern Professional Fishers Association, saying, guys, certainly weren't overly enthusiastic with getting back fishing. Every day that we fish and we don't have that market available to us is disappointing. It has been disappointing for the best part of 4 seasons now. We were quite hopeful that throughout the off-season there might have been a breakthrough, but unfortunately, to date, there hasn't.
Very disappointing.
So this tracks back to late 2000 when China's customs agency blocked live rock lobsters from Australia, citing excessive levels of heavy metal.
What year did you say? 2000?
2000. It was all in that COVID stuff. And it was all to do with different borders.
Do you mean 2020?
Yeah, sorry, what did I say?
Yeah, you said 2000. I feel like there hasn't been a 24-year ban on crayfish.
I got 4 years, right? Anyway, that was to do with all those sort of trade barriers and tariffs on barley and wine that was going on. And it did all relate, I think, to China, to COVID at the time.
Yes. Yeah, good call, Rhodey.
But yes, disappointing. But anyway, we'll see what happens. And like I say, South Zone is fishing for crayfish. North Zone has another month to wait.
Yes, and not that I want to put this positive spin on it, but the price of crays has reduced accordingly. Is that fair to say?
Look, mate, I don't remember the last time I bought a crayfish. So
Oh, flex. There he goes. All right, let's move on, Rhodey. Women's and Kids Clinic. This is a rec fish initiative down at Lake Bonnie.
Yes, it is. So the 18th of October and the 19th of October, there is a women's knot tying clinic on the Friday the 18th at the Barmer Club from 6:30 to 8:30. And then on the Saturday morning, there is a women's fishing clinic on the Lake Bonnie foreshore, 9:30 to 11:15. And then a juniors fishing clinic from 12 till 1:15. So that's on Saturday the 19th. And that's part of the Real Women Group and the Reeling in Junior Anglers program run through Recfish. And it starts up another season of clinics, Diz, and I know they've got some more funding, and I know they're going to be bigger and better than ever this year.
Yes, they always do a really great job, and there's always a absolute buzz of activity around those events and a lot of people getting involved. So certainly encourage you to get down there and get around it.
Yeah, and Diz, there is also another clinic, I believe, on, I'm just looking for it here, but it's on the weekend before that, Diz, the Gone Fishing Day, which I think is the 13th. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does sound right.
And I think that one is at West Lakes. I did have it here in front of me, but somehow I've lost it.
I think it is I reckon I read that too, mate. There's another net swap going on that day from memory.
Here we go. Gone Fishing Day, the 13th of October, Oarsman Reserve at West Lakes. There's a fishing clinic and Yabby net swap. 2 sessions, 10 till 12 and 12 till 2. Register via Eventbrite through the Recfish SA Facebook page.
Good going. We love that. All right, Rody. Brilliant. Now, mate, it is this time of year where the kingfish get a good run on the socials, and over the last few years, it's been all for the wrong reasons as far as we're concerned. What can you tell us, and what news is breaking in this space?
Well, Diz, I can tell you that there seems to have been a number of often anonymous posters I've noticed that have gone on that, I think it's called Yellowtail Kingfish South Australia page, posting saying, here we go again, another lot of netting, a big school.
Yeah.
So obviously we can't take that as written proof if it's posted anonymously on Facebook, can we? But certainly where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, I think so.
And the other thing that I've noticed is some of those this one is a photo from the Long Life Asian Grocery, which has $12.99 per kilo for whole or half kingfish.
Yeah.
So if they're netting them and selling them for that cheap, it's a disgrace.
Yeah.
The value of those fish to the local communities as a recreational target is huge. You imagine how much those fish are worth, considering how many people catch and release them anyway, to a Port Augusta, Point Lowly, Whyalla, any of them.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And they're getting sold on the cheap after they've been netted in their hundreds or thousands.
Even at 12, mate, it's a bloody... It's a lovely fish.
Oh, it's a steal.
I mean, we love seeing those big ones go back in the water, and I know there's a lot of people that very much practice catch and release in that space when targeting kingies. But if you do keep one, they are good chewing and certainly worth a heck of a lot more than $12.99 a kilo.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
when you think about whiting at almost $100 a kilo.
It's keeping in mind these were whole fish as well, so you lose a bit with that, but it's still well underpriced, and it's not what we want for saying that should be a great resource for rec fishing, but obviously not if we're going to go and allow netting of these huge schools.
Yeah, hopefully there's hopefully the powers to be wake up to this one, I reckon.
And we talked about this last episode of the one before. Rec fish are kicking up a bit of a stink again, but it's sort of we need something to be done about it. We need the politicians to start listening.
Yeah, good call, Roddy. Love that from you, mate. Excellent. Now, I'll just round out this little news segment. Monday, the 30th of September, marks the start of Safe Boating Week for 2024, and it runs through till the 6th of October. So it's basically a week that's dedicated to raising awareness for safe boating behaviour, and it coincides with the official start of peak boating season.
It's always a good message there, Diz. And if anyone wants a reminder of what they should be doing to maintain all their safety gear and all that with their boats, jump on our SA Angler magazine from last year, Diz, about setting up your boat for the season.
Good call,
and
right?
that covered a lot of the maintenance and stuff of life jackets and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, well, it's a good call, mate, because the marine safety officers, they'll be out and about. They'll be, of course, checking all the boaters for safety equipment on board their vessels, making sure that serviced life jackets are on board all boats. So I couldn't agree with you anymore, mate. Get on, read the article, and you'll find out everything you need to know.
All right, Diz, that's a bit there for the news.
Yeah, don't mind it, mate. It was a good little segment. Let's roll that straight into the tackle item of the week.
Now it's time for Rody and Diz to really show you what it means to have all the gear with a lot of idea as they review a tackle item of the week.
This is a good tackle item of the week, mate. I'm looking forward to this. Hit us with it.
Salty Captain Diz, the all you need for cleaning and maintaining your boat.
You almost don't even need to introduce it. Wrap up the segment. Salty Captain, done.
Now, what we do need to introduce is Dizzy's a bit annoyed at me going rogue on the podcast account, bank account.
Yeah, you've bought like 2 to 3 years supply worth of Salty Captain here.
Do you want me to read out what I got sitting in front of me? I've got the marine grade aluminium cleaner.
Can I just make a note on that? There are a lot of tinnies out there. Now, people who own a fiberglass boat, of course, don't have this issue, but aluminium does fade significantly over time to the point where I think sometimes even where you give your boat a real good scrub,
it doesn't quite look
the same.
But it will with this.
It will with this aluminium cleaner. The stark contrast, we'll put up a photo of our boat, the stark contrast between what you get in an aged aluminium versus giving it a bit of a polish up with Salty Captain's aluminium is, mate, it's chalk and cheese.
And our boat's due.
It's due. It's due.
We also got the salt wash detergent Diz, so we can really get the sponge out. It's got we also got one of those, the hand sponges with all the little fingers, little soft fingers. Would you call
it? It's like a microfiber sponge.
Yeah, it's a mitt though.
Mitt.
It's a mitt. So we'll get
microfiber sponge mitt.
We'll get plenty of suds scum with that.
Yeah.
And we got the they call it a musket, Diz, that thing.
Oh.
That you shoot the foam out with, the soap.
Good call, yeah.
We also got the engine flush Diz. And that's just really going to keep your outboard looking in great nick when it goes for a service.
Yeah, you want that. You want to clear out all the salt and gunk. Definitely.
And I also got the four-wheel drive and RV wash, which I might lend you for your car, but probably mostly for my car.
Yeah, I feel like I've been stitched up there.
I'll let you borrow it.
You give me a few meals?
Yeah, I'll give you a little take-home pack.
Good man. Good man.
But Diz, let me leave you into a secret. We spent so much money, they've given us a bloody discount code.
Wow, that's elite.
That's how much I spent.
What they say, you blokes have put in the biggest order known to man. We'll give you a discount code.
They gave us a discount code, Diz. So all you need to do is jump on the website at Salty Captain, put in your order, you get to that little payment section at the end and it says discount code. What are you writing there?
Oh, it'd be something like Roadie's massive purchase.
All the gear 15.
All the gear 15 gets you 15% off.
15% off any Salty Captain products on the website.
That's a steal. Jump onto Salty Captain for sure. They've got everything on there. They've got a lot of value packs and that sort of thing, haven't they?
Bundles, plenty of bundles.
Bundles, good call. All right,
so
mate.
You could use that and get 15% off all your Christmas presents, mate.
I was going to say Christmas presents, Father's Day, Mother's Day.
We've had Father's Day.
Yeah, but just any day.
I'm sure your mum would love a car wash set for a Mother's Day.
Safe boating week. Buy a gift for someone. Simple.
Beautiful.
All right,
that's a good tackle item, Diz.
Love it, mate. That's very good. Now let's get into our guest.
We got Michael Angelakis. As we said at the start, Diz, he is absolute fishing royalty. It's great to hear his story of where his family has come from, how they built up the business, went on TV for a long time, and now he's enjoying a bit more recreational fishing, Diz.
Looking forward to hearing from him. Let's get him on the line.
Now it's time to get our guest on the line. We'll ask them the all-important 5 questions, then chat all things fishing in SA.
All right, Diz, we have got Michael Angelakis, a seafood icon in South Australia. We've got him on the line. Michael, welcome to the show.
Good morning, and it's definitely fish and chip weather, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it's great. If this is a sign of what's to come, then I'm all about it because we've had a bit of a spell of some dodgy weather and it's finding up, which we love.
Absolutely. Once we get the winds to stop and the seas settle, there'll be plenty of food stirred up. So the fish will be out there foraging, hopefully.
They will, Michael, I'm sure. Now we're going to get into the TV show and the fishing industry and all that as time goes on. But let's start off with our 5 questions, starting with tell us about your best fish.
My best fish is at Buffalo Reef out of Lincoln. We're on a 100-foot decommissioned tuna boat. And the skipper said, I'll give you a call when to drop your line because we don't anchor and we just drift. And we did, and there was fishing and aquarium. In first 5 minutes, I got a double header, a massive groper, and a massive red snapper. So it was awesome. And it's very deep. I think it was about 30 metres. So it was an exercise to bring it up. But once it hit the deck, that was it.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. It was a lovely part of the world. We just fished we fished the Port Lincoln Tuna Classic earlier this year, and we were hanging around Buffalo Reef. There was good numbers of bluefin there this time of year, at that time of year.
Cool. Oh, that's great.
Michael, tell us your favourite thing about fishing.
I like the peace, the tranquility, and, I'm third generation, grandfather, father. We're professional fishermen in 7 out on the West Coast. I just love being out there and just drifting and, your thoughts go and all you want to do is hook that bloody fish. That's all that's important,
Exactly right, Michael, and plenty of our guests have a similar sort of answer to that. So that's a common one. Now,
Absolutely.
tell us about your first fishing memory or what got you into it.
Oh, yeah, my grandmother. Actually, we lived, our house in Severnard, the backyard was the beach. So at low tide, she taught me what my father used to do as a boy in Simi on the Greek islands. So he used to get a jar, preferably one of those long Golden North honey jars. You clean it out and you put in bread, you put it in sort of ankle high water, and all these little white baits come. And when you see them go into a little mullet, and when you see they go into the jar, you run out, put your hand over it. And my grandmother said, "Don't come home until you get enough so I can make you a white bait omelette."
Catch fish or don't get fed. That's one way of doing it.
Absolutely. There's a desire there.
Yeah, awesome, Michael. Now, what about your favourite sort of fishing and why?
My favourite fishing, I'm a handline man. I still have, we left the West Coast in 59. My dad started fishing in 1928. My father, in 1936. My grandfather in 1920. And I still have the original hand lines they used to use for catching King George.
Wow.
And they used to make their own sinkers. So I have all that. And you wound it on, but, it's easier to put it on one of those plastic reels that you just cast out and the line just unwinds itself,
Yeah.
Real bread and butter fishing, that one, Michael.
Sorry?
Real bread and butter sort of basic stuff.
Absolutely,
but if you catch fish, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're using.
No, for sure. You're right.
All right, and you must have a funny fishing story or one that got away.
Yeah, there is one. Well, it was a long weekend, and in the Central Market, we can't stock any fish because it's closed on Monday, and we've got to wait for the fish to come from the market. And anyway, a mate of mine rocks up, unshaven, looks like he had a tough night. He says, "Michael, I want the biggest fish you've got." I said, "Okay." He says, "I went fishing, but I got distracted and I caught the wrong fish," if you get my drift. So the only fish I had at the time, waiting for the market stock, was a snapper, about 6-7 pounder, pink snapper. And he says, "Wait a minute." So he got out a hook with a line attached and he put it through the mouth of the snapper. So anyway, we didn't open again until Friday. He comes that morning, he says, "Mate, I'm in trouble. You got me in trouble. I asked you to help me out." I said, "Mate, what's wrong? You asked me for the biggest fish." Excuse me, "I gave it to you. It was a snapper." "Yeah, mate, but I told the missus I was fishing up the Murray." He got into a lot of trouble, a lot of explaining to do.
He didn't give you very clear instructions, to be fair.
No, that's I did what he asked me to do.
He could have said, "Give us your best freshwater fish."
Yeah, for sure.
All right, beautiful, Michael. Well, thanks for answering those questions. We're going to get into some more specifics now. And obviously the Angelakis name is famous seafood in South Australia. Can you tell us a bit of the history about how the Angelakis family came over to Adelaide and South Australia?
Sure. My grandfather migrated in 1926 from the island of Semi. He was a sponge diver, and he heard there was a Greek population in Severnard, a large community, and they were all fishermen. So he came over and, he very successful fisherman. He fished, bought a house there, which was just a railway corrugated cottage. He sent back money to my grandmother, and it was my father, George, my uncle Nick, and Auntie Evangelina. So he started fishing, and then Dad came out. He wanted to go to university. He could speak languages. He was a brilliant student. But, at 16 in Severnard, there wasn't even a high school. It was an area school, no universities. So Dad became a fisherman, and he fished from 1936 to 1959 when we came to it. By that time, we had 4 boats. We had a cutter, which was about a 38-footer, 2 dinghies that they used to fish from. They'd go out from the cutter, they'd catch whiting, put it in the whirl, which was alive, then come back to the Canberra, that's what it was called, the Canberra cutter, and put those fish, and then they'd come back after a 4-day trip with 500 pound of whiting. So it was a lot of, all hand line, just Dad and my uncle. And then we came to 1859. Dad had 26 years as a fisherman and thought, well, there's not much future in Sevenard for us 4 kids. And he went and became a foreman for Lloyd's Timber Yards. But as my father was the founding board member for SAFCO on the West Coast, he brought all the fishermen together to form the cooperative, which at the time was one of the world's largest fishing and processing cooperative. And then the general manager was a very good friend of the families and had a lot of time for my dad. So you should buy the business in the Central Market. So in 1960, we bought what was the seafood side of the business from one of the brothers, Fred Hodgins. It was called the Old Firm. And then 2 years later, the brother said, well, you bought my business, my brother's business. Why don't you buy the poultry and rabbits? So my uncle at the time was the general manager for SAFCO. My father said, listen, there's a chance to have our own business. Why don't you come in as a partner and we'll have seafood, poultry and game. And that was it to this very day. And I got into it after I finished high school. I studied for a year and did business studies and built up a business up to 150 people, $60 to $70 million turnover.
Wow, mate, what a fantastic story that is, and a huge congratulations to you,
Thank you
and your family, mate. It's like Rhodey said, it's a famous name, and it's great to get the backstory of that, mate. We love hearing those sorts of stories, and well done to you and the family for doing such a great job for South Australia.
It was a passion of love. It gave the family employment, but the people said, I always want to know how much you're worth. I said, listen, we employ 150 people. Is that, if a business is not successful after all those years, what is? So, it was great. It was a lovely return and lovely success, that we shared.
Wow, it would have been a amazing time being out on the dinghies back in the day catching, what'd you say, 500 pounds of whiting?
That was a lot of, and they used to go out at low tide in Denal Bay where the house was and go and get the razors, which they used to keep, and they used to get wet wheat bags to keep the razor fish wet and alive, and then they would, use the shell, break it up for burley, and the white heart was the bait. That was it.
So it's pretty sustainable fishing. If you go collect your own bait, you do it all, and you probably barely leave, 10 kilometres of Ceduna by the sounds.
Absolutely. Out by Eyre Island. That's where the fishing grounds were.
Fantastic. Michael, please tell us about Out of the Blue, the TV show. That's another famous show.
Keelan and I were both doing individual segments on Adelaide Today. I used to have 3 trays, 2 of seafood, talk about the specials and the buys, and 1 on poultry. And then the producer said, right, you've done enough, you're on your own, and you can talk about seafood and whatever you like to do with the segment. It will be your own segment. So I got up. For whatever reason, I froze, and Keelan was laughing in the background, having a big old laugh. And the producer says, well, you think that's funny? You go and sit with your mate, and see what happens. Well, that was the chemistry, and just got on fire. And to date, we're currently producing a 1-hour special that was requested by Channel 7 to broadcast nationally to celebrate 20 years of Blue.
Oh wow, very good. How many episodes have you done in that time?
That is it would be a few hundred, and there'd be a few because there's always 2 recipes a show, so not much we haven't covered. And we've travelled the world, New Zealand, we've been to Malaysia, Italy for about 16 years in a row, Croatia, America, Vietnam, you name it, we've been there. We've been very fortunate to promote the assets of the state.
Very good, Michael. Now I understand you're out of the business now. What are you doing with yourself these days? A bit more time for fishing yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a real hunter-gatherer, and we've got a place at Black Point. So I've heard today from my mates that are there, it's time to come, throw out your crab pots. The crabs are running, so I go out I work it with the outgoing or incoming tide. That carries the smell of the bait. I've got 4 pots and normally get a boat full, which is about 50 crabs, and that's it. And that's good for a few days because, you can only eat 3. But most of them come back to Adelaide with friends that love to come out. So Black Point is probably my favourite, that's my therapy out at Grab Central. And then I love going back to the West Coast. I was back in Thevenard just recently, and we bagged out. I was going with a professional fisherman. He said, "Stop eating the razorfish. We need the bait." I said, anyway, so there, all good fun.
Excellent, mate. Now, one last thing for you. You mentioned SAFCOL. So the seafood and fishing industry has clearly been better for you guys being a part of it, mate. Tell us about how you see the industry in general at the moment and what the future looks like.
Yeah, SAFCOL, back in the day my father started, it was the West Coast Fishermen's Cooperative. But unfortunately, a lot of the times they would get a bill that the fish had to go to Melbourne. It didn't arrive properly. They had to pay for the ice, the transport, and my father said, "Oh, hang on, something's wrong. We know our fish. We know how to look after it." And so he decided, because he could speak numerous languages, he got all the community together, the professional fishermen. He says, "Let's form our own cooperative." And at the time, SAFCOL had a factory there, which my uncle was the manager of. So Dad said, let's go to SAFCOL. We know we'll get shares in the company. They've got a factory here, and then we know what's going on. And that's how the family got heavily involved. Dad was on the board and all the rest of it. So he played a big part in consolidating the industry, getting the right people and the right marketing, and also the handling of the product.
And Michael, obviously you've had a big history in the seafood business, and now you're sort of a bit more recreational yourself. There's obviously, bit of back and forth, I'd say, between the professional and the recreational sectors. What do you think about all that? Plenty of fish in the sea for everyone to catch, or have you got an opinion on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I spend a lot of time with government. I'm an ambassador. I used to chair the Seafood Industry Promotional Council and all that. And I think there's a lot of things that they could do a lot smarter. Fisheries PERSA is always about compliance and licensing. And I said, you have a duty. You have marine parks, you closed zones, limited entry. I said you should balance it out. You've completed the life cycle of our premium fish. It's time now to balance out the stocks in the ocean by encouraging an aggressive attitude towards aquaculture. Put fish in the Padawalunga, put fish in the Coorong. Could you imagine kids in the Padawalunga and Westlake sitting in a safe environment, catching fish offshore? So fingerlings, feed the Gulf with fingerlings. You've done the science. Do it, especially the Coorong. We don't get the flounder we used to or the saltwater ring. We've done the science on that. We know how to breed the fish. So I think that's lacking, and an aggressive attitude. And farm for the market. The days of catching for the market have changed for a whole lot of reasons, and it's time to farm for the market.
Yes, very good. Some common sense there from you, Michael. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on, I caught a couple of red mullet the other weekend, and I think they might have found their way into your hands over on the Eyre Peninsula.
They certainly have.
You're pretty passionate about cooking some of the less desirable or less popular species and making something beautiful out of them. Tell us what you did with the red mullet and what you feel about all that.
The red mullet, I got friends that absolutely say, could you please? So most of the time I give it away. But the best way of cooking, and the way they love cooking, is get plain flour, you season it with black cracked pepper, sea salt, roll your fish in that, and just get vegetable oil because it's got a high viscosity. Get vegetable oil in a moderate heat, and once it starts to bubble, and just fry your fish to crispy in that, and let it, and just eat it off the bone. It's easier to get off the bone when it's hot. And people love red mullet. My favourite is Tommy Ruffs,
Yes, and
Excuse me.
It is good to see that we're not just eating the whiting and the snapper.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Every species getting used.
Yeah, salmon trout, lovely sized salmon. Great for sashimi, great for ceviche, all that stuff.
Now, bit of pressure here, Michael. We've got one last question for you. If you were going to cook up one sort of South Australian seafood dish to, interstate or overseas visitors, what would it be? What's the number one go-to?
Octopus is our family signature dish, which originates from the Greek islands. You marinate it in Greek flavours, olive oil, lemon juice, oregano and cracked pepper. You do it on charcoal. We've done it in America for good ALA, and we've done it on a 1-to-1. It was only 4 of us, the king and queen of Sweden. We did that with them on a 1-to-1, and that's our signature dish. So anytime we do a promotion or a demo, always do octopus. It's the cheapest way of eating crayfish because they get caught as a bycatch in the cray pot.
Yes, absolutely. Another brilliant sustainable method. Now, Michael, you've been very generous with your time. Thank you very much for joining and telling us a bit about your story and what you're up to these days. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, mate. Thanks again.
Well, good fishing, good hunting and gathering, and respect the bycatch because, you only get 30 whiting a day. You can't eat that many. So the bag limits to me are very generous because people forget you can do that 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So, I think it's fair. I think it's generous. The only thing I'd like to say in closing, I've been adamant, and I really mean adamant, about bringing in a recreational fishing fee. Everybody else does it in Australia. Exclude kids, exclude pensioners, use the money for better boat ramps, have toilets at the boat ramps, washing stations, shelters on the jetty, and restock the ocean with fingerlings.
Very good, Michael. You talk a lot of sense, and maybe we need you in charge.
Take care.
See you, mate.
Thanks, Michael.
Bye.
Great to have a chat with Michael, a huge name in the fishing industry in South Australia and Australia, as we heard, even abroad.
Very informative, Diz, and we love that he uses all of those species that others might not. Red mullet, as I said, I dropped some off to his residence the other day. And octopus.
Octopus, good call. Loves a feed of blue swimmer crabs.
He does. You've seen him fishing over there at Black Point for the crabs plenty of times.
Yeah, good call. Good call. All right, Rody, let's get into the fishing report.
Rody and Diz have been out on the water to bring you the news about where they're biting. Now it's time for the fishing report.
Dan Way's been getting onto some callop, hasn't he?
Oh, he smashed him that weekend on the houseboat, didn't he?
Wow.
And what about him having the arrogance to post, I've caught so many fish, I've ran out of worms. And they didn't even leave the marina.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
So the fishing guru, he was on that was a client weekend, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he's, don't quote me on this, but I think he's done it a couple of times.
Yeah, I reckon
maybe a bit of a yearly thing. Fantastic work Dan does for that organisation that he works for, taking people out, getting them involved, doing those outdoorsy style activities. And when you got the fishing guru around and you're just absolutely smoking the callops like that, it's no wonder they're getting hooked.
And I'm reading here, caught a heap of callop, kept 3 in the mid-40s that were gut hooked badly. And there's a couple of pictures here up to late 40s, it says.
Wow.
Open the account with 420 millimetres. And then we're pushing high 40s by the end.
Impressive.
That's good fishing, Diz. And as I said, we are going to go up the river, or I definitely am. You coming next weekend?
Yeah, I'll be there. Just I'm not committing at this stage to a full night or 2 nights or...
How old's the baby?
5 weeks old.
Should be right. Doesn't take up much space in the tent.
That's for sure.
Anyway, so if Dan Way's anything to go by, we'll catch plenty of callop. But no one else, we probably won't.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Rody. Jared behind the Southern Fishing Charters down on the Flurio there has been cleaning up. Mixed reefies, some real good gummies.
Yep, Nana guy.
Nannies, good shout. And he'll be out there. I reckon he's going to be one of the first onto the tuna.
Well, he's certainly going to see him in here because he covers some good ground and, he's out and amongst it and seems to be taking plenty of charters out.
Yeah, good call. Want to fish can't be far away. Is that a good shout?
No, I don't know, Diz. I feel like around this time of year there has in previous years been that second run of the barrels down in the southeast.
Yeah, so maybe he holds off.
Probably haven't seen that, but I don't reckon the weather's been up to getting out there that much.
Yeah, good call.
But they are still getting them over on the Eyre Peninsula, I reckon.
Yes, well, we saw Asher got a good one.
Yes, that was a couple of weeks ago, week or two ago.
Yep. He was
So
out.
around Neptune Island
He
is
was
the
out
word
with
on the
Shane.
street.
He was out with Shane.
He was, Diz, he was.
Shane must be sick of putting people on barrels.
Well, hasn't put us on one yet. Mind you, we haven't been over there and asked either.
I was going to say. Right, Rhodey, very good now.
Should we go over to Wallaroo?
We should go over to Wallaroo.
And
a massive event on the calendar.
This probably could have gone on the news segment, but it was a bit of news, bit of fishing report.
Yeah, well, I mean, what we're hoping to do is just back this up in next episode's fishing report, saying they absolutely took the mickey and they cleaned up.
And this is the North Bank fishing competition, Diz. So there is a bit of an arrival briefing on the Friday, the 4th of October at the Cooper's Ale House at Wallaroo.
Yep.
Then fishing. Oh, there's brekkie at the Wallaroo boat ramp. 5:30 a.m.
Wow.
Anyway, then on the water, 7 a.m. Weigh in 3 till 5, and then a presentation dinner at the Wallaroo Football Clubs. That's the 4th and 5th of October this weekend. It's a long weekend.
Yep.
And yeah, we're going to preempt that there will be fish caught. So that's why it's in the fishing report.
I think so. I mean, I'm not sure that the weather's going to be the greatest, but if there's one thing I know about North Bank, the weather rarely gets in the way.
No, Diz, it wouldn't stop them that much, would it?
Some of those lovely 750, 650, 600 Cs, they'd take on, look, am I going to say 95% of the days in the year? Serious vessels. And I tell you what, that new one they've just sort of sneakily launched on their socials.
Yeah, it's been teased at this stage, hasn't it?
Teased.
It's called the Outcast.
The Outcast. Is
Centre console.
Impressive. I mean, look, we haven't seen one in the flesh. We haven't sort of been given a guided tour or anything like that, but it looks like a mint boat.
We should get down there and do a tour, Diz.
We should, mate. We should.
We should be first on the scene when they officially launch it, photos and all. At the moment, we've just got some sort of vague videos teasing us.
And, mate, it was a tease, wasn't it?
And it looks good.
Very good. Love it. Rhodey, what else is in the fishing report? Do you want me to give you a couple of roguies?
Yeah, I'm happy for you to take this where you want to take this because there was some rogue sort of chat before.
This is actually going to be a future fishing report.
Okay.
I've got a regular down at the pharmacy who loves fishing. He's rolling a late October 2 weeks on the trout in Tassie into a couple of weeks on the Cocos Islands chasing bonefish on fly in early November.
So he's going on a trip coming up.
Yeah.
And you're that confident he's going to catch fish, you've put him in the fishing report preemptively.
He showed me the photos of last year's trip. I'm that confident.
Why aren't we going?
I don't know. He was telling me about rooster tails that his fly line was doing when he hooks up the bonefish and the Cocos, mate. And you know who else does that? I'm not sure they go to the Cocos Islands, but the worstelings love chasing bonefish on fly.
They do. I've never been to the Cocos Islands.
Actually, I think that might have been Christy's best fish.
Yeah, I reckon it could have been. We haven't had her on the podcast, though, have we?
Well, or was it Jet's best fish?
Could have been.
Christy's still on the worsteling tick-off list.
We need her to tick off the threesome, the whole family.
Yeah, good shout.
Do you get I've never been to the Cocos Islands, but I think that and Tasmania have vastly different weather systems. What does he pack?
Well, I don't think he's directly going from one to the next, but they're separate trips. But he was just telling me about how much he's looking forward to the next 2 months. He's got 2 massive trips planned. Ties his own flies.
Tough life for some, isn't it?
Yeah, he's retired.
I wish I was retired.
So do I. So I'd go with him.
I still might retire and go with him.
Pack up my bags and go. All right, a little bit of a rogue one there for the fishing report. I'll report back to you. We're probably going to have to wait until
mid-November by the sounds. Mid to late
November, but I'll give you an update on the trout if he sort of sends a couple photos, so you just never know.
Very good, Diz. That will wrap up our fishing report. We've done local, we've done Tasmania, we've done the Cocos Islands, we've done a fishing comp that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rogue fishing report this one.
It went all over the shop, that one.
Anyway, all good. Righto, Roddy, where can the listeners find us?
Dizzy, we are all over your Apple Podcasts, your Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, you'll find us.
Good call, mate. And don't forget all the gear 15 for your Salty Captain purchases.
And don't forget to tag us in your photos on Facebook and Instagram, and you might win a Shimano prize pack like Jordan Saliba.
Good call. Love it, Roddy. See you next time.
See ya.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.